Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, let me introduce myself. My name is Tammy. I am the owner of Walnut Creek Bath Boutique. Today, as you may have guessed by the thumbnail and the description, I just want to have a quick chat on IFRA, the 49th Amendment, and what does that mean to us as makers. So I have been doing a lot of reading the last couple of months and just getting really lost in all of the reading I was doing because when I would search out IFRA, it was always kind of geared towards distributors and manufacturers, and not anything that I could read really pertained to me as a maker. So I reached out to Candle Science. Candle Science had a really good blog post a while back about IFRA and the 49th Amendment. And so I felt like they would be a good source for me to kind of contact and try to get some help with the understanding of this. So I have been in contact with Emily there at customer service, and she has been wonderful. Can't recommend Candle Science's customer service enough. Emily, awesome. She really helped me kind of understand the whole scope of IFRA and the 49th Amendment as it pertains to me. So I thought I would share with you what I learned, and a quick backstory. I'm going to read my notes because, again, I am getting really lost in all the weeds of all this. It's really not necessary for us to know all this, but I do want to be quite, I want to share whatever knowledge I have with you. So IFRA is the International Fragrance Association. That's what that stands for. Fragrances are regulated by IFRA and by their scientific branch, which is that RIFM, Research Institute for Fragrance Oil Manufacturing, or something like that. The scientific branch, I think it's all under one umbrella, but they are the ones that kind of come up with what is safe. So fragrance oils are created by a coming together of components, right? They bring all these components together, up to 80 in a bath and body fragrance oil, up to over 200 in a perfume. Get all those components, and so all of those components have different usages or different safety ratings. So what happens, from what I can understand, is the institute creates the let me make sure I'm going to say this right. The institute creates the standards. So the Research Institute for Fragrance Oil Manufacturing creates the standards for fragrance oils and all of those components that go into a fragrance oil. And then the IFRA certificate is created by the distributor. So that would be Candle Science, would be the ones to create that certificate. And so I want to read what Emily had to say because I was really, really lost in all of that. And I think I have it written here. So this is what she had to say as far as the whole process of that. She said, IFRA makes the regulations themselves, so they regulate, and provides that information to suppliers and the fragrance houses. So I think a lot of times the distributor, Candle Science, and the manufacturer of a fragrance oil, they work pretty closely together to create the certificate. I'm pretty sure a lot of them do. She said our fragrance house makes IFRA documents for them, and then we revise them and create ones in-house based on their documents. So the fragrance houses are where the scents are tested, so IFRA isn't part of the process aside from setting the standard themselves. So IFRA and the RIFM sets the standards. The manufacturers and the distributors create the document to give to us. So that's kind of a backstory on IFRA and that process of them. So we, long story short, long story long, we are not required to create that document. We're not required to keep it in our inventory or bookkeeping. We just are not even required, but we are meant to use that document to then make our products safe. So I'm going to link a couple of things down in the description box below. I started watching Armatage Candle Company, and I really liked this video he did on his testing process of candles. And The thing that struck me was his verbiage of industry standard. That really struck a chord with me, guys. So he would test his candles according to what industry standard would be deemed safe. So that protects him from litigation. So he can prove that that candle passed industry standard testing when he goes to sell it, or if he should be then came back on and somebody would like say he didn't give a safe product out. He has that to fall back on. It's kind of the same thing for us. Our industry standard is that IFRA certificate. So it's really important that we know those percentage ratings and what they are so that we can be below that. So if you see a lotion at 10%, that doesn't mean we're going to put 10% in our lotions. That would be ridiculous, right? We're going to keep it down to the 1 to 3% that is pretty standard. But say that lotion was 1%. If it says lotion 1% and then we put 2% in our lotion formulation, then we're not following industry standard, are we? So then if that customer has irritation, we don't have that to fall back on to protect us. So it protects us, that information. It also protects our customers to make sure that they're staying safe and we're not doing any harm by using too much. So it's a very important piece of information for us when we go to make our products. The Armatage Candle Company, I'm going to link this as well, had a really good article on his blog about, do we need to follow it? So us here in the States, do we need to follow the IFRA standards? Do we need to abide by that certificate? No, we don't. We don't have to. Should we? Absolutely. 100%. 100%. We want to keep ourselves safe. We want to keep our customers safe. We should be following that. And but we're not legally bound here in the States to do that. But what he had to say, I'm going to read this because I thought it was very well written. Technically, you don't have to follow IFRA standards if you aren't a member of the IFRA society or whatever. But you do have to follow the law. If you sell a product that causes irritation and you're found to have not followed IFRA standards, you can be liable for damages. The IFRA certificate, while not a law in itself, is an industry standard that should be observed by every artisan consuming fragrance oil. So I really like the way he kind of put that out there, and I thought that industry standard was such a smart term and such a good way to convey the importance of us following that IFRA certificate. Because it just gives us our guidelines that we need, right? So let's talk about the percentages of that certificate. And I want to specifically talk about soap. When they talk about a percentage on a soap, they're talking about oil weight, not batch weight. That water we use in our recipe evaporates and it's no longer in the end product. So it goes by oil weight. And I see a lot of people saying that they use 1 ounce per pound of oil. And so I did kind of a test on one of my recipes. And my recipe is 105 ounces for my 27 bar batch. It's 105 ounces of oil weight. So at 5%, that is 5.26 ounces of fragrance oil. But remember that 5% is 5.26. 1 ounce per pound of oil is over 6.5 ounces. So I am over an ounce more at an ounce per, if I do the 1 ounce per pound of oil kind of formulation. Well, say that fragrance oil is only, the safe usage rating stops at 5%. So if I go up to 1 ounce per pound of oil, I am no longer following industry standards, and then I am not protected. So I think we need to, as makers, rethink that whole 1 ounce per pound of oil way of thinking about our fragrance oils, and we really need to start looking at our oil weight, percentage of oil weight, and kind of use that. It's really going to protect us a lot better than the 1 ounce per pound of oil. I've done it, guys. I started off doing the 1 ounce per pound of oil, and I even, when there was a time, a few batches of soap I made, I thought 5% was batch weight. I was putting like 8 ounces of fragrance oil in this batch of soap. It was bigger than mine now, but oh my goodness, I was way over fragrancing a soap. So I'm not saying I never made those mistakes. I'm just saying that I wasn't protected and I wasn't protecting my customers when I was doing that. So it is, the percentage is oil weight, and I just wanted to make that kind of clear, or kind of let you guys know that, because it can be confusing. And I was watching YouTube videos and I was hearing everybody say 5%. I thought it was batch weight. Oops. All right, so enough of that. Let's talk about the 49th Amendment. 49th Amendment. So every, I know, 1 to 4 years, they change the standards. And the it could be technology, it could be just them understanding what's going on with those components a little bit more. It could be lobbyists, it could be whatever the reason. The standards do change, sometimes often and sometimes not. And it's been, I think 2018 was the last time that there was an update. So our fragrance distributors found out in December of 2019, so it's over a year and a half ago, that this amendment was coming. It was originally going to be effective of February of 2021, so they give them like 18 months. They've moved that with COVID, they moved it to May, so now they have 23 months or 24 months. I can't count. So they have until May, and they have known for quite a while that this was coming. What does that mean for us? It means that our fragrance oils that we have on our shelves may or may not be skin safe come May. We don't know sometimes, because some of these fragrance houses are not telling us or not getting their certificates until they have to. They have to have those updated by May of 2022. And here's where I was really struggling, because I couldn't find anything to help me understand, what does that mean for my fragrance oils that I have? What does that mean for any bars of soap that I have, or lotions? Any, bath bombs. What does that mean for my fragrance oils that I've purchased and wanting to purchase, and my products that I've made and wanting to make? And Emily, again, at Candle Science, God love her, she helped me understand that we as makers are still able to produce our products at the current standards. So if I was to use Black Sea as an example, Black Sea, I love Black Sea. It's like, where is my Black Sea? I have to have it in my hand to talk about it. So let's use Black Sea as an example. I buy Black Sea from Candle Science, and I have for years. This fragrance oil has not changed. It is the same oil it was last year and the year before. What has changed is the usage rating come May of 2022. Because when I bought this and I looked down and I saw soap 0, I was like, what? No! I run over and get on the website and I see all of these, comments saying, what? No! Black Sea hasn't changed, but the standards are going to be changing as of May of 2022. And I was like, Emily, what does that mean for me? So here's what it means for us, you and I, as makers. We can make Black Sea. I use this at 5%, which is way too much. It's very strong scented soap. Too strong for me. I can still make this at my normal 5% until May. So I have until May that I can make this. But here's the kicker. I also have until May of 2022 to sell my Black Sea soaps at 5%. That's really important for us to know. So it's really good that Candle Science is on this. I know every single fragrance oil on that site is updated with the 49th Amendment standards. I know when I look at that IFRA certificate that I know what's coming in May of 2022. So if I wanted to, I'm not going to, but if I wanted to, I could still make this and still sell it this winter. But if I had any bars on my shelf left over, come May, I would have to pull them and they'd have to go in the wastebasket, because I can't sell them, because it would then not be industry standard. I would not be compliant with the industry standard. I'm not going to get in the middle of this argument of, well, why is it safe now, but it's not going to be skin safe then? That's not for me, guys. I'm not interested in that. But I do want to be very compliant with this whole industry standard. So how do you know if the statement that you're looking at is the new 49th Amendment or not? And the easiest way to know is see if there's 12 sections. So I have a standard sheet, and I'll probably try to link a copy of this down below somehow. But there are 12 categories. All years previous to 49 have been less than 12. There's 11, and then probably what you're used to seeing is 11. Like the lotions, they've broken those up into 5A, 5B, 5C, body, one's for baby, one's for face, one's just for hand cream. They'll have different ratings depending on the usage, you know. So easiest way to know is if there's a 12th category, you know you're looking at an updated one. What I did was I contacted every single fragrance supplier that I have. If I have ever purchased a fragrance oil from a supplier, I contacted them to ask them where they're at with the update. I have to say, some of the responses I got was quite disappointing. Quite disappointing. So I have fragrance oils on my shelf for up to 6 to 8 months before I get around to using them. And then I have bars on my shelf that I don't sell my bars out within weeks. It usually takes me several months to sell out all of my bars. I can't have bars on my shelf that I have to pull and throw out. I have a lot of fragrance oils on my shelf right now that I have no idea where they're going to be at come May. Some may be fine. Some may not change at all. But if I look at my Black Sea, one of my best-selling soaps, and this changed, any of them could change. Any of these fragrance oils that we buy now could change come May. We just don't know because our distributors are not being in a hurry to give us that information. A lot of the responses I got were pretty heartbreaking. You know, it was pretty much, well, we'll have it before the deadline. That is not good enough. That is not good enough for me because their deadline is my deadline and it's your deadline too. So just be aware of that. Be aware of that. I am trying to use up all of my fragrance oils from the companies that are not updated yet because I just don't know where they're going to be. So the companies that are updated, Candle Science, great customer service again, great customer service at Candle Science. The Flaming Candle, they said all of their fragrance oils are updated. I'm sorry, I have an eyelash in my eye or something. Sorry, guys. It doesn't state on the website, but I did email them and they did get back with me and they said yes, all of their fragrance oils are updated. Be Scented, I don't know about all. I emailed them a couple months ago and I never heard back, but all of the ones that I looked at, which was about 10, were updated, and they have like a little snapshot on the bottom of the fragrance oil page. So all the ones that I looked at were updated. I can't say that all of them were, but I mean, that's a pretty good percentage right there. Micah's and More is pretty much all updated. And I have to give a shout out to Stephanie there because she's the first person I heard talk about the 49th Amendment. She's the very first person I heard even mention it. So she is really trying to shine a light on that. And she tests all of her soaps at the new rating to see whether she's going to keep them on her site or not. I really appreciate that. Most of her fragrance oils are updated. And I emailed her and I was like, where's the IFRA certificate? Because I thought it was weird I didn't have one from her because she's talking about it all the time. And she goes, well, it's right up there on the top in bold. I completely missed it. So yeah, it's there. It's just not on the fragrance oil page itself. It's just in a listing. So it's there. So Micah's and More, great company, great customer service, and she is on it. Micah's and More and Candle Science are both two of the companies that I feel are really shining a light on this 49th Amendment to try to prepare us. So Brambleberry, Some of them are updated, some of them aren't. They said by the end of the year they should have them all updated. Just so happens that all of mine from Brambleberry are not updated yet. But I'll be checking back every few weeks to see where those are at. And then, so I just wanted to give you guys like a few suppliers that are updated. You can feel confident and comfortable buying fragrance oils from them, because you know that if it happens to sit on your shelf for 6 months, then it's still going to be good for you to use that in your products at whatever percentage is on their forms or on their website. I just wanted to give a shout out to those companies because I really appreciate the fact that they are working hard to update those, and they're working hard for us because it seems like they understand that that's important to us. I did want to give a little bit of a shout out to Midwest Fragrance, and honestly guys, I have never bought fragrance oil from them, but I am absolutely going to be buying fragrance oils from this company because this was awesome. So I just did my standard email to her and I said, hey, just checking, when do you think you'll have 49th Amendment updated on your fragrance oils? And I want to read you her email. She said, hi Tammy, we are waiting on our suppliers to roll out this new update. I have been emailing back and forth and will let you know when I have more regarding a date. I sincerely apologize as I truly have no control over when we will have them. I do have my team ready to roll these out as soon as we get them. Thank you so much, Kenna. And so I just emailed her back and I said, thank you so much. That was such on point response. That's what I want to hear from every supplier that I contacted. That's what I wanted to hear. And I just wanted to thank her for such a, such a good response. And she said, thanks Tammy, this means so much to me. We are makers ourselves, so my number one priority is my amazing customers and fellow makers. I truly am sorry I do not have this info yet, but will do my best to update you when I have it or know more. Please let me know if there's anything else I can do for you. I am more than happy to help. That email won her a customer. That is customer service. I am mad at a lot of these internationally well-known fragrance oil suppliers. I am mad at those companies. So I am not mad at Midwest Fragrances. She acknowledged that she wasn't ready yet. She acknowledged that they were working on it. They were quite well aware of it and working on it. And you know what? She acknowledged my need for it. She acknowledged my need for it. So that won her a customer. I am definitely going to be buying fragrance oils from that company as soon as they're updated, guys, because again, I'm not going to buy any fragrance oils unless I know what the usage rating is going to be come May. So a lot of these companies have lost my business for almost 9 months. I'm not going to do it until they're updated. I can't waste that money. What if they're not good in wax melts? I mean, you can use them in wax melts, right? But what if they don't work in wax melts, or they don't work in my particular blend of wax or something? The last thing I want is a shelf full of fragrance oils that I can no longer use. So anyway, I know it's kind of heavy. It's kind of a heavy subject, but I think it's an important subject. I'm not mad at IFRA. I'm not mad at this amendment. I think it's really important for us to follow these standards, protect us, protect our customers, keep them safe. So I'm not mad about that. I'm just more mad or just kind of disappointed in some of the responses I got. So I would really encourage you to check with your suppliers. And I'm thinking, well, maybe if we all start emailing them and saying, hey, when are you going to have this available to us? Maybe then they would see that, yes, their deadline is May of 2022, but so is ours. And that's important to us to know before we spend a lot of money in fragrance oils that we're not going to use up and sell by then. Like I said, not all fragrance oils are changing, but we don't know what we don't know. And so it's important for us to know ahead of time, I think. So let me know what you think. I probably got this wrong. You guys, this is like the 5th time I've typed this. And it's like, I even have it posted. I even have it scheduled to come out like in September. I'm going to pull it. It's like, I can do better. I can explain this better. And I'm going to do this one. And I'm going to think, I could have said this. I should have said that. I'm done though. I've talked about this way too much. Just to be just on myself. This is all I got. It's the best I got. It's gonna have to do. I know I probably got some things wrong. I know I've got that whole process probably, you know, it's just, my brain doesn't work like it used to. So, but feel free to drop into the comments below if you feel like I did get something wrong that you think other readers would or watchers would benefit from knowing. I will be dropping in some links. Candle Science has a great article. The Armatage Candle Company, he has a great article and a good video too that explains it really well. He's got a couple good videos that really explains it well. So I'm going to try to drop all of that in there in the description box, and I hope you got something out of it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.